What are the most important features you should be looking for when you're purchasing a RoboVacuum today? And after having tested the Narwal Freo Z Ultra, the Dreame X40, the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra for over an year each, I'm ready to let you know what's the difference between all three, what you should be looking for, and which one is going to be the best for you. Let's talk about the navigation technology built inside of each RoboVac. So on the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra, it's coming with that Precision Sense LiDAR, and then you have the Reactive AI 2.0, so it's using a camera and structured light system so that it can map out and see what's in front of it and how tall it is. Drawback on the Roborock is that the Reactive AI system is not great for detecting chords, and it's not great for avoiding fringe. And that's been a problem along this whole lineup of Roborocks, where their reactive AI, at least in this generation, had a more difficult time with chords and fringe. And you can see Roborock's solution for when there's a chord is to avoid it completely and just go around it completely now. And the Narwal Freo Z Ultra uses that twin AI dodge system that's combining dual 136-degree cameras as well as dual AI chips. And why having dual AI chips is better is that it makes decisions faster. It's going to see something in front of it, it's going to identify it, and then it's going to adapt to how it wants to deal with it or get around it. It also does the same thing in terms of if it sees something low to the floor, it's going to do a better job identifying how low it is so that it can maneuver around it or pick it up. And the secret is that the Narwal has a wider field of view. So it's like having two eyes instead of having one, and that's going to give it more advanced depth perception. Now let's see how it does with a little bit of chocolate protein shake on the floor. And the Narwal Freo Z detected that the chocolate milk was very dirty because it was dark, and that's why it's going back again to rinse its mod pads for a second time so it could come back and fully clean this stain. And that's what that intelligent AI does. And the Dreame's navigation technology includes the LiDAR up top. It has the 3D structured light camera as well as a LED. It's going to be able to see in RGB, and because the Dreame X40 is good at detecting colors, it does do a very good job detecting what's in front of it and seeing what the color of the stains are. It really does do a good job sensing and detecting what the stain is in front of it. So if it's going to be some type of dark chocolate versus if it's going to be like rice or something light. Now looking underneath each of the units, you can start seeing more differences here. This is going to be the side brush. This is the side brush that's going to also extend outward. So that's going to be the extendable side brush. And you have this little circular pad on the side that's going to help with the corners and edges, as your Vibrance pad just stays in one place. And the secret for the Roborock is that the brushes are going to be thicker, as well as the hole that everything is going to go into is going to be wider. So that's going to help with the hair tangles as well as larger particles not getting stuck and just, staying inside of your bin. Next up, let's compare it to the Narwal Freo Z Ultra. The main brush here is going to be anti-tangle, and it does that because it's coming in this little circular shape, and the air flow is going to go from one side to the other. So what happens is that you have an open vent here, and that airflow is going to push the hair off of the brush and towards the hole into the dustbin. So because you have better airflow, you're going to get better suction. And it's going to be coming with dual side brushes, one on both sides. They're going to be feeding debris into the mouth of your unit. If you're looking at the mod pads themselves, these are those updated mod pads in the triangular shape, so it can go deeper into the corners. If you're comparing it to the Dreame X40, the X40, we have our side brush here, and we have it with the extendable side brush. Then you have the brush roll. The brush roll is going to be the Dreame brush roll. Dreame brush roll is quite large and thick. You can pop it out. There's no special action here. Ours has seen a lot of action, and it is pretty good at not getting clogged because of the size, and it's easy to clean as well as to place back in. So let's do a small object test here, and then we're going to do chord tests as well as a mop and vac test. So one by one, let's see how they perform with these small objects on the floor.
Start vacuuming the selected
And talking about the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra, it does do a good job avoiding most obstacles, but when you have these smaller obstacles on the floor, you find that it's going to get stuck and it might pick stuff up. So it's not just going to be for cords that we find it has a problem. It actually picks up things like bracelets, and it knocks a lot of these small objects around because I think it observes them, but it wants to get closer, or it's a little bit aggressive, or basically it might not even care and it just wants to push things around sometimes. And that's okay as long as you don't have a lot of cords on the floor, because it can still finish its sessions without failing. But remember, you want to make sure you don't have a lot of small objects or cords on the floor. And this bracelet, it just sucks it right up. And I was surprised that it didn't even detect it, especially in today's world. So on our obstacle course will be the Freo Z Ultra. We have it on the same settings as the Roborock, and we're going to set it. And let's see how well it does. Next, let's look at the Narwal Freo Z Ultra in terms of how it manages these various objects on our floor. And it uses a twin AI dodge system and these dual 1600 by 1200 HD RGB cameras. They give it a field of view about 136 degrees. Now, you would think that it's going to avoid all obstacles, but actually it likes to get really close and it will touch certain things because it wants to make sure that it does a good job cleaning. And I was unsure if that was a design quirk or it's something that Narwal's actually trying to do. And after using our Freo Z Ultra for about 6 months, over 200 different sessions, I can tell you I think this is actually a purposeful choice. So the Narwal Freo Z likes to get as close and personal to all of the things on the floor without getting tangled with it. And that seems to be a testament to its AI capability. So it's really trying to get close to things instead of just trying to simply avoid them. And we can see that the Narwal did a much better job just navigating our obstacles on the floor. It got close to the stethoscope, it got close to the beads, but it did not suck them up. It did not shift anything out of place. It did brush upon these Pokemon toys, but overall we found that obstacle detection was very good. The Dreame X40 Ultra is still one of the best for small objects in all robovacuums, and it's really because it does this sudden motion where if it sees something in its peripheral vision, it's going to turn to it and just go back and forth to see if it's really there and how close it is. And it does that, and that also allows it to avoid hitting things and not touching things. It won't get as close as you want to all the small objects, but I find that it doesn't get tangled, it doesn't get messy, and it gets relatively close to everything without getting too close, but it does take longer because it always does this kind of, I look at it and I go back and forth for almost every small object on the floor here. We have a cord obstacle course here, we have an extension cord, we have a power cord, and we have a charging cable. So we want to know, can the Narwal Freo Z, the Roborock, and the Dreame X50 able to handle all of these various types of cables and obstacles, and how close are they going to get when they go and clean around them? Looking at the Narwal Freo Z on a cord test here, because it comes with that zero tangling floating brush, and that's engineered to manage hair and pet fur without entanglement, but it also allows it to avoid tangling along with cords. Because as it runs along the cord, it's going to turn off the brush closest to it, as you see here, and then it's going to go along its way and then reactivate it once it clears the cord. So that prevents the cord from wrapping around the side brush, which is the main cause for a lot of the tangles on these side brushes. The Narwal Freo Z Ultra also managed to get around and vacuum close to the surge protector without getting tangled with it, and you can see the Narwal reactivating and deactivating its side brushes as it goes around the surge protector, and it tries to vacuum inside of the little space here as close as possible without getting tangled as well. This is going to be the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra's cord test, and it does do a good job getting around the USB cable on the floor here, but it does make a quite large circle around it in order to risk not getting tangled with it. So what Roborock has decided is that when it does see a cord, it really tries to get away from it, make a huge zone in order to risk not getting tangled with it. However, it does have a weak spot here for certain types of cords like surge protectors, because initially if it just sees where the plugs are, it's going to go around it, but then it's going to come back when it goes to the other side and get wrapped up on the thinner part of this cable. And I'm surprised that this is still something that's an issue, because we do not see this issue as big on the Saros 10 or the Saros 10R, but it is still an issue on the S8 MaxV Ultra, even after all of the updates that have come out. And on the Dreame X40's cord test, it does like to do wacky things sometimes, like just bulldoze or monster truck over certain cords, but I think majority of the time you won't have those issues because it does a great job just avoiding cords in general. It doesn't get too close, it actually finds the best way to get around cords, and it's good at recognizing what the obstacles are. The Dreame is not going to be the most elegant because it always puts the camera looking at the cord and goes back and forth in this rocking motion whenever you have power cords or you have obstacles on the floor. But I'm okay with that because as long as you're vacuuming when you're not home, the Dreame is going to be more than suitable, because it could take 2 hours, but as long as it does a good job, it doesn't get stuck, I'm going to be really happy with mine. And finally, let's talk about vacuuming and mopping performance. As an owner of all 3 units who has put a lot of hours and testing into all 3, I can tell you right now, they all have similar features, but how they apply those features to the floor and how it impacts and works on your home is going to depend on your home and what you like and what results you are looking for. Because each one are going to have their own strengths and each one are going to have their own weaknesses. Now, if we're just doing a quick quinoa test here, like on our Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra, the Roborock is a great vacuum. It's going to be having very good pathing. The issue I find is that the Rinse could potentially leave streaks. And if you're trying to see which one is going to be better between the Omni Dirt Detection that comes with the Dreame, the AI Dirt Sense 2.0 that comes with the Narwal, or the Roborock's Dirt Tech technology, and what that means is that the robot can decide to either rewash its mop pads if they're heavily soiled, or it can opt to remop the entire area if it decides that the mop pads are soiled enough that it's going to require further cleaning. And this is how clean our Narwal left our kitchen floors. Spick and span. And one of the knocks on the Narwal is that it doesn't come with that side brush that extends outward, something you find on the Roborock and the Dreame. Instead, it comes with something called edge swing. So that's not going to be the same as having one that can just extend outward when it's inside of a corner. Taking a closer look at their clean stations, we can open them up and see where the garbage bags are housed, as well as where the auto dispensers, or if they come with auto soap dispensers. So this is going to be on our Roborock S8, and you can see that it does come with a auto soap dispenser and an area for the bag. Next up, we have our Dreame X40. We just pop this open. You have the auto soap dispenser here, and you have the area for the bag. This is going to be on the Narwal. The Narwal, we take the front cover off, and it's coming with a auto soap dispenser, and this is something that's going to be pre-filled. And you have an area for the bag. The bag is actually going to be larger, and the Narwal will refluff the bag, so it's going to be more full. These units do not have those capabilities. The Narwal will be the only one that's going to have a menu and buttons on the actual clean station itself, and you'll find these buttons are very functional, and they're going to be able to control the robovac even when it's outside vacuuming. So you could bring it home just pressing the buttons on the clean station. So the Dreame and the Narwal will be using hotter water than what you get with the Roborock, which is going to mean that they probably clean faster and they'll clean your mop pads better than what you get on the Roborock overall. And this is the clean station for your Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra. It's going to have that little side brush cleaning area here, and there's going to be a tank that's going to be coming with a catch that you can remove on the side right here. So this is going to be the catch. And how Roborock will clean the mop pads is going to be pretty straightforward. You have a small area here for the small circular mop pad that's going to be going along the edges. And then you have this scraper brush here that's going to be running back and forth along the clean station so that it scrapes and cleans the thinner brush that's on the bottom of the Roborock. And you can hear the Roborock in action scraping the brushes back and forth. And that's really how it cleans those brushes here. In contrast, if you're looking at the self-cleaning station here for the Narwal Freo Z Ultra, it's going to be a lot deeper and there's going to be a large cleaning tray. And if you're wondering how long it takes usually for your mop pads to dry in here, it will take about 90 minutes and it's all going to be self-contained, and that's because they want to eliminate odors. So that's one of the main reasons why Narwal opted for this more sanitary, odor-free setup instead of getting something a little bit more exposed. The Narwal Freo Z also uses something called electro-water sterilization. So that means it's going to add electrolytes to the water to make it ionized, and that ionized water is going to help sanitize the mop heads, and it's going to keep everything a little bit cleaner. And that water, because it's ionized, is going to do a better job disinfecting all of the pipes inside as well as the clean station itself. And that's in contrast to the Roborock and the Dreame that do not have the ionized water but still use their clean water in order to empty and self-clean themselves at the same time. And finally, on our Dreame X40, if you take a look right here, you have your various mop pads, and then you're going to have this self-cleaning tray. And my advice to anyone who has the X40, you will want to manually clean the self-cleaning tray regularly. It does not have a complete self-cleaning cycle to clean the tray. When you're talking about overall suction power, the Narwal Freo Z Ultra is coming with 12,000 pascals of suction. So that's an equal amount to what you get with the Dreame X40 Ultra, but it's going to be higher than what you see on the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra. And the Roborock is coming with 10,000 pascals, so 10,000, 12,000, 12,000 pascal. But take those pascal numbers to heart, because what that means is that at peak suction power, it can produce that amount of suction. But in regular use, they all have just about the same amount of suction power. The Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra with its LiDAR and front-facing camera did a great job in terms of understanding where all the walls are and mapping out the space, but it did not separate the areas into various rooms. It did recognize where there's carpets by the darker areas, and if you want to set that up inside of the app, this is going to be as simple as just editing the app, and then you can create your no-go zones. You can edit rooms, edit furniture, and edit surfaces. It comes with a standard interface where they have your different modes, so you have full, rooms, zone, and routine, and if you want to customize that to your personal settings, you can decide between smart plan, vac mop, mop, vacuum, and custom. Inside vac mop is going to have your different settings. You can control your suction power from quiet, balanced, turbo, and max. You have scrub intensity and water flow here. You have mild, standard, intense, and max. You can set it so that it can clean twice or one time, and for your route you have standard and fast. And the true question about how good the AI software is going to come down to the updates. So this is the version that I have for my S8 MaxV Ultra. It has been modified and updated a number of times since it originally came out. And this is the Narwal app with the Freo Z Ultra, and you can see that you have your shortcuts. It really reminds you of the original iRobot app with the buttons. So we're going to go inside of it, and this is going to be the map it created. And it will always try to give you some hints. And then if you want to click between the modes, you're going to have the various modes you want. So you have vacuum and mop, vacuum then mop, you have vacuum, and then you have mop. If you want to customize it, just click it, and then you're going to get the full customized options here. And if you want to do a custom session here instead of the Freo, or you want to activate the Freo Mind, which is the AI mode, you can. So you have Freo Mind, and if you don't have that option, you can then select vacuum and mop cycle. So you can do it 1, 2, 3 times. Suction power, quiet, normal, strong, and super powerful. You have mopping humidity, low, normal, wet mopping, and then you have coverage precision, standard, meticulous. And on the Narwal Freo Z, you can see how it detects different floor surfaces. And the LiDAR and the dual front-facing cameras allow it to make an accurate map here. And the Narwal generates a map that's similar to the Roborock and the Dreame, as you can see here. It just does a better job, in my opinion, sensing what's on the floor, and that's because its sensors are more geared to understanding what the floor type is and how to best deal with them. And if you go into the Narwal app for base station, you can see that Narwal is really going for trying to make the base station as quiet as possible. They have drying intensity. You can put it on silent drying so that if you only use your Narwal once a day, it can dry at night. And the Narwal Z Ultra lays out their maps a little bit differently. So there's one big box and you can see where the walls are located. And this is the app for the Dreame X40 Ultra. You have two buttons on the front with the battery levels, and then you can just click it and it's going to open up. And this is the map that it generates here. And what you notice with the map is that it will auto create these rooms for you. So it might call the room something different, like it called my kitchen a primary bedroom, but it would make and auto make the rooms for you, so you did not have to do that yourself. If you want to make adjustments to the map, all you have to do is click map edit, and it will give you the ability to make the room partition, ground environment, no-go zones, curtain, a virtual threshold, furniture, and these are new updates that Dreame added on after the X40 had come out. If you want to do custom and you want to see all these settings you get, so you get your suction power, you have quiet, standard, turbo, max. You can have various levels of wetness here, so you can get this all the way up to 32. So a lot more fine tuning on the amount of wetness. You can do the mop washing frequency, and you have the route. And inside the app of your Dreame X40 under carpet settings, it's going to say side brush rotates on carpet. If you want your side brush to rotate on your carpet or rugs, you need to activate that. Otherwise, it's just going to increase the suction power and they turn off the side brushes. That's in order to protect them in case they get snagged on something on the carpet. Which one of these RoboVacuum is going to be the best out of the three? Well, it's going to be a more complicated question, because if you want to talk about which one was the best when they first came out, I would have said that you would want to go with the Dreame X40. But now, after all the updates, I would say now you probably want to go with the Narwal Freo Z Ultra. If you just talk about as a vacuum, the Roborock is a very good vacuum. It might not be able to detect a lot of the obstacles in front of it as accurately as the other two, but as a vacuum, it's very good. But the Freo Z goes one level further. It uses spinning brushes that are more triangular in shape so that it can get a more better scrubbing action, and the material that they use for those spinners are gonna be denser and more absorbent than what you get originally on the Dreame. So that's how it's getting better performance. It's not just based on the technology, it's also based on the simple things. Just better components, better accessories. Right now, today, if you're looking to save yourself some money and you want to get a premium mopping RoboVac, these three are still going to be the creme de la creme, and if I had to rank them, the Roborock is number 3, the Dreame X40 is number 2, and the Narwal here, the Narwal Freo Z Ultra, is going to be number 1. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and please hit that like or subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. I try my best to show you as much and explain as much of why you should buy these or why not you should buy them. So I hope you appreciate the effort, and I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Glow, signing off. Bye, bye, bye.